All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca, and I'm an event planner with the Orange County Library System. Welcome to tonight's virtual event, Ask a Lawyer, presented by the Orange County Bar Association. This project was made possible in part by the Institute of Museum and Library Services. In tonight's event, you will have the opportunity to speak with a panel of attorneys to get insight and guidance on bankruptcy, consumer law, and small claims. Before we begin, I would like to share a couple things about Zoom. Please keep in mind that everyone's videos besides our speakers will be turned off. You will be muted unless you are asking questions, then you can unmute yourself. If you have a question and would like to speak, please use the raise your hand feature, or you can type your name in the chat, or you can, if you are calling in, you can unmute yourself for a second so that we can see your name, and I will be making an order in the chat for us to know who is next. When it's your turn, I'll be actually speaking and saying your name so that you know it's your turn, and then you may unmute yourself. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and begin by introducing Zeffery Mims, our moderator for tonight's event. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Rebecca. Good evening. My name is Zeffery Mims. I'm a solo practitioner who handles consumer law matters as well as an Orange County Bar Association member. I'd like to thank you for attending our Ask a Lawyer event sponsored by the Orange County Bar Association and the Orange County Clerk of Courts. Before we get started, allow me to give you a little background about the Orange County Bar. The association has been around for 85 years, and in addition to serving the needs of our members, one of our goals has been to reach out into the community and provide services and programs that will benefit Central Floridians. Some of our programs include our members pro bono with the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association, our lawyer referral and information service, our Law Week program for school children of Orange County, and our free Citizens Dispute and Family Law Mediation program. The Citizens Dispute and Family Law Mediations are facilitated by an impartial, professional mediator who listens to both parties and encourages a resolution that's satisfactory to both parties. And by reaching a settlement, both parties avoid court costs and the uncertainty of a trial. This is a free program. It's for anyone residing in Orange County. Tonight's Ask a Lawyer event is just one of those programs. And we hope you feel free to ask any questions you have about consumer law, small claims, and bankruptcy. Orange County Bar attorneys Louis Basagoitia of Louis Basagoitia Attorney at Law PA and attorney Amy Goodblatt of Goodblatt Leo will help guide you through some of the tough issues that you want to know about. Tonight's event will be recorded and shared on the Orange County Bar Association's Facebook page, so be sure to like the page if you are on Facebook. And without further ado, I'd like to now introduce Roberta Walton. Ms. Walton is the inaugural manager of the Self-Help Center and a part of the Orange County Clerk's Family Law Services. As a Self-Help Center manager who oversees services offered to self-represented litigants interested in family law, landlord-tenant law, and small claims cases, Ms. Roberta Walton, on behalf of the Self-Help Center and the Orange County Operations Manager of the Clerk of Courts Family Law Services Division, offers attorney consultations offered in collaboration with the Orange County Bar.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mims, so much. And thank you all for joining us tonight for this wonderful program that is sponsored by the Orange County Bar Association and certainly co-sponsored by the Orange County Clerk of Courts. As Mr. Mims stated, my name is Roberta Walton, and I am the manager for the Self-Help Center here with our Orange County Clerk's Office. The Self-Help Center initiative is something that is near and dear to your clerk, of course, Ms. Tiffany Moore Russell, because she started at Legal Services, the Greater Orlando Legal Services, started her career legally and never really forgot her roots in terms of making sure that all individuals have access to the courts. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen really quickly so I can share a little bit about this wonderful program that we have here at Orange County Clerk's Office for individuals who are attempting to represent themselves in court without an attorney. Let's see if I'm get it done. Share. Okay. Did I do it? Not sure. Am I sharing?
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, okay. All right,
Awesome.
good. Great. Okay, so a little bit about what you're seeing here right now. What you see on the screen is our brochure, a brochure for the Self-Help Center. What we do is we take cases from family law, small claims, and residential evictions, and all family law cases. That includes child support, child custody, name change, divorce, paternity cases, any family law case, any small claims case, any residential evictions case, and you do not have representation, you can come to the Self-Help Center here at the 3rd floor at the Orange County Courthouse. We will offer you triage services where we have a full service document library with Florida Supreme Court and circuit approved forms for you to take and complete on your own, and to take those forms and then bring them back here to the Self-Help Center to file with one of the 5 full-service deputy clerks that we have. For those individuals who have questions about those forms, don't really understand the legal jurisprudence surrounding family law, small claims, or residential evictions, we offer a service that is collaborative with the Orange County Bar Association, where we have attorneys here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays between the hours of 8 and 4. You can schedule a attorney consultation to receive guidance about how to move forward to represent yourself for just $1 a minute. Those appointments are in 15-minute increments, 15, 30, 45, and 60 minutes. And what those attorneys do is they sit down with you in a one-on-one. Right now, we're still virtual, so those appointments are virtual one-on-one appointments to answer all of your questions that you may have about the forms, about the proceeding, and how really to move forward and empower yourself to represent yourself in court. Certainly, we always recommend that if you need further assistance, that you collaborate with the Orange County Bar Association and the practitioners who practice in the family law, small claims, or residential eviction area, because it's always great to have an attorney on board. But when you don't, we do have this wonderful service available just to come in and have access to our self-service computers, our triage services, and the 5 deputy clerks here that are willing to answer your questions is free of charge. Again, that office is open from 7:30 to 4, but the attorney consultation services are 3 times a week from 8 to 4, and it's simply $1 a minute. I'm sorry, those services cannot be refunded, nor can we reschedule once you schedule. Of course, it's only $1, but for that reason, we want to make sure that we open this up to all people throughout the metropolitan area, all individuals who have cases here in Orange County, and we service the metropolitan area as well. Feel free to contact us at myorangeclerk.com/self-help to schedule your appointment. Those appointments have to be scheduled in advance. And again, they cannot be refunded and they cannot be rescheduled. So just a little bit, again, I think I hit everything. $1 a minute. We offer the forms review, the filing assistance, which is the triage services. We do have public computers here for people to come in and utilize to do some due diligence on their part. And all in order to access our services, all you have to do is go to our website right here, www.myorangeclerk.com. If not for yourself, we implore you to refer this service to your family, your friends, because it could be anyone who may in need of these services for these very specific case types. Again, here's how you reach us, our email, here's our phone number, and here's where we're located.
Roberta, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to let you know that we can't actually see your whole screen. We see like part of your presentation.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know how to make it start.
No problem. If you want, I can actually like we can coordinate grabbing that document so I can share it afterwards if you'd like.
That's right. That's perfect. So I'm told we can't see the entire document. I know I'm not techie, but I will leave this to share with anyone who'd like to receive this information. We look forward to having you come over. And again, this concludes my presentation. If there are no questions about the services that we offer here at the Self-Help Center.
Thank you, Roberta. We will be
right.
adding all of the self-help information in a follow-up email to you guys. So
perfect.
No worries about that.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Ms. Walton.
How do I stop? Okay, I think I got it.
Awesome. At this time, I'll be opening the floor for questions regarding consumer law, small claims, and bankruptcy.
Hi, so our first person is IRISL. Oh, I'm sorry, there was somebody, I think they may be gone. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. I will add your name to the chat. I think we're missing one person, but if you have a question, please feel free to, again, add your name to the chat. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute your video, but you can unmute yourself. Joey, go ahead, you can unmute yourself.
I said, good afternoon, and thank you for hosting this. With regard to consumer law, I'm wondering, I have an issue around malpractice in dentistry, and I haven't been able to get very far on my own. Would that be considered part of the consumer, because I don't want to bring the wrong thing in the wrong platform?
Okay, so it looks like, and thank you so much for your question. Consumer law question regarding malpractice, specifically in dentistry. Mr. Basagoitia, would you like to give it a crack at that?
Yeah, no, that's not really consumer law. That would be malpractice, just like a doctor malpractice. That would be a dentist malpractice. So, I know this is a little off topic, but it's hard to get lawyers who do that type of law. But yeah, that's not consumer. That is medical malpractice.
All right. Well, I have another question pertaining to that. Part of the fee that I paid was on a credit card, and the dentist terminated the service. But when I filed with the credit card a dispute, they made up a story, and the dispute was denied not in my favor. So I was also concerned about that. And I thought this related to consumer, because if I paid for something with credit card and I did not receive the service, but one of the tactics that the company used, and it was one of these franchises, was that they needed my permission to disclose any information, but I can't find, they won't send me the disclaimer form, and they said I cannot use a general form. So I've been going round and round and round trying to figure out how to approach it.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, you're attempting to dispute the charge that was charged by the dentist?
Yes, and I did dispute it, but it was denied.
Okay, and one of the things that you can do, of course, is contact the Law Referral and Information Service, because depending on the amount, you may be able to either use a self-help attorney or be referred to a consumer collections attorney. I'm not quite sure, of course, where you are in that process, but it may be something that that you can avoid by maybe a defense that an attorney can help you with. So I definitely recommend a collections attorney, someone that can help you formally dispute that charge.
Okay.
I have a few comments. How much are we talking about?
$2,200.
$2,200. That's below the small claims amount. You can sue up to $8,000 in small claims. So if the doctor You're right. That this part of the case is consumer because it's a debt, is a contract, what we call lawyers call. So yeah, this part is consumer. If the doctor did a bad job, that is a medical malpractice. But you're right. If he didn't do a good, I mean, if he, you have a dispute as to the amount, and he didn't do the service, that could be considered breach of contract. And you also said that you cannot find out who the finance company is. Is that right?
No. I explained myself poorly. I know who the finance company is. It's called Care Credit.
Right.
So I went to the dentist to get the braces that the dentist puts in. 5 months in, I had a problem. The duration of the 5 months, the process was supposed to last 24 months. After 5 months and my calling in, he said, his receptionist said to me, he said to go to an orthodontist. And that was the last, and he's not treating you anymore. I asked them to put it in writing, but they never put it in writing. They discontinued treating me. The stubs on my teeth, I had to go somewhere else to get them removed. And I got TMJ as a result, and I had to go, I spent about $5,000 in other treatments to get my teeth back.
So was this dentist going to do the braces for you?
Yes, he had started the process. He was
and then he just says no more, huh?
Yes, because I complained because it was hurting, and it turned out that I was not a candidate for it.
Okay, so and you can Google this because I don't have it with me, but there is a board of medicine that regulates dentists here in Florida. So just Google who regulates dentists in Florida, and then file a complaint against the dentist. Okay, you can do that. You're not gonna get money, but it's another way of getting justice, so to speak. And from what it sounds to me, from what you're saying, is that he breached the contract, and you can sue him in small claims.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, next up for a question is IRISL.
Hello, I'm Iris. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Iris.
Hello. So I have a question for you. I took my car to a mechanic last October, and I already knew what was wrong with the vehicle. It needed a clutch and a flywheel replacement and possibly engine mounts. So we had discussed it over the phone because somebody had referred him to me, and he said, okay. So I took the car to him. He supposedly did the repair, but he actually stole my transmission and my engine. I have photos as proof that the engine has like junkyard markers on it and stickers that are not matching with the VIN of my vehicle. I took the car to Midas. They said that it needs a transmission, which that was not something that it originally needed. I tried to resolve this with the mechanic. There was no resolution. I paid cash. My ex-boyfriend was the one who actually picked up the car, and he signed the receipt. So I don't even know if I have a case in court because I don't have before photos, and I'm not the first owner of this vehicle. I'm actually probably the third, but I do have like all the original service records, and I had that in my glove compartment. And he saw that, and so he just took a chance and took my stuff because mechanics get away with these things every day. I made a complaint to the Department of Agriculture. He never replied. And so now I know I have a year to take it to small claims. However, I would have to pay on top of every rental that I had to pay for because of the fact that I no longer had a working vehicle until I got another one. I have all the receipts, but I don't know if I even have a case. I did call the Florida bar and no one replied. I sent them an email. And I also called Morgan and Morgan, but they said that was not something that they dealt with. So like I've pretty much been being sent in circles. I did go to small claims and I got all the paperwork stating like what the process is like and what I have to do. I just don't want to waste my time in court if I don't have a case. But I feel like it was an injustice, and it's not the first time. Like I looked up Google reviews after the fact and I saw that I guess he's done other things to other people's vehicles. So I don't know what to do.
All right, Zeffery, did you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It sounds like a Motor Vehicle Repair Act issue is potentially, as well as unfair and deceptive business practices as relates to motor vehicles. One of the things that Florida law requires is that you get a repair estimate, and that it is forbidden for him to exchange parts without your knowledge, for lack of a better word. So the fact that he may have exchanged transmission parts without your knowledge and gave you used parts violates the law. Any willful departure from the standard of care that you'd expect from a technician, he can be held accountable for. And the same goes with the Deceptive Business Practices Act with regard to motor vehicles. And so I would definitely recommend contacting the Self-Help Center and asking for a small claims initial consultation. And definitely the attorney who helps you would be able to direct you towards the particular laws on point regarding motor vehicle repair.
Okay, I didn't get a repair estimate before the fact. We just discussed it over the phone. So I only have the receipt of what he did after the fact, but there's a lot of missing things that he was supposed to add to the receipt that he didn't even add. I also have extra proof because the car was shaking after the fact and I complained, which I recorded him over the phone. He doesn't know about it. But I don't even know if I could use that in court either.
Now, was the car working after he got done through it?
We were able to drive it home, but I haven't been able to drive it since. It's parked because now it has a bad transmission.
All right. You have there is so what you're saying is that he swiped the engine for another one, right?
Yes, the engine and the transmission.
And the engine and the transmission.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a place in Orange County, go to the Orange County government, and there is a place called the Consumer Fraud Unit. So it's Orange County Consumer Fraud Unit, and make a complaint with them. And what they do, you did?
I did with the Department of Agriculture.
No, that's not the same. The Department of Agriculture, with all due respect to the state of Florida, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But no, this is the county. The Orange County has a place called Orange County Fraud Unit. And Google it, Orange County Fraud Unit. You can file a complaint there. And if they find criminal conduct, now that's not civil, it's criminal. You know, he committed a crime. Then they may prosecute the man, which, you know, it's unlikely, but it is something that you can do. Now, the other thing you mentioned, you have 1 year. Who told you you only have 1 year? I think you have more time than 1 year.
Oh, that's what I read online. It said
no. You cannot go by what you read online unless it's vetted by a lawyer. No, you actually will have probably at least 4 years. Mr. Mims, he made reference to some statutes. He's right about that. I know that sounds complex to you, and he referred you to the lawyer for our service. Now, I'll just add two things. Now, you're right. You know, you're going to have to convince the judge that this man swiped the engine. So that may not be so easy to do, especially if the other party contested. Now, and the only other thing I would like to say about small claims, I think everybody who's interested in small claims needs to know that if you're suing in small claims, you're going to get a paper by the judge saying that if you win the case and which, by the way, if you win the case, they're gonna give you the fees, the filing fees. They're gonna award those to you. But like I say to my clients, a paper signed by the judge is not the same as having the money in your hand. So be aware of that. You may sue him and he may still not pay you.
Yes, that's what I have heard.
Even if you win the case, you know, it's just no guarantee that, you know, he's gonna pay you.
If I could say something, hi, I'm Amy Goodblatt. I'm sorry you're going through all of that. You did mention something I just want you to be cautious about. You've been getting excellent advice from Lewis and Zeffery. You mentioned that you recorded the man on the telephone without his knowledge or permission.
Yes.
That's inadmissible. Not only is it inadmissible in court, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but
I thought so too, right?
It's a crime. You're not supposed, if someone leaves a message on an answering machine, they've given you permission to leave that answer, that's okay. If someone, you know, says, I didn't do the work, and it's on your machine that says, hi, this is Iris, I'm not home right now, leave a message. But be careful, you don't want to go into court with something he didn't consent to being recorded on, because you could find yourself in trouble. And it sounds like you've got enough trouble with this guy already. I would probably omit that information from the courthouse if you could. Okay, just a little caution there. Thank you, Iris.
Okay, no problem. I had a question for Zeffery Mims. Where did you refer me to? We discussed so much, I wasn't able to write everything down. I did get Lewis's referral for the Orange County Government Consumer Fraud Unit.
Yes, Mrs. Walton gave a presentation at the beginning for the Self-Help Center. One of the things they offer are consultations with attorneys for small claims cases. So that would be the Self-Help Center at the Orange County Clerk of Court's office.
Okay. And then I can bring all the related paperwork that I have available, and they would give me a more, not definite, but, you know, a better idea of whether I should pursue this or not.
Yes, absolutely. They'll answer all of those related questions.
Okay.
You'll know for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Our next speaker is Frank Gold.
Hi, this is Frank Gould. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. I'm asking a couple of questions on small claims, and then I have another question that's outside this, but I think that you can get some good advice from y'all just to understand what's going on with this other issue I'm just dealing with at the county. The small claims question I have is the judge failed to reimburse many of my expenses for small claims against Trustco Bank. And I've gone to the Better Business Bureau, and I'm trying to get them to reimburse me that way for the remaining amount that I'm due. And I also filed a question on the e-file site requesting answers as to why I was not fully reimbursed and what I wasn't reimbursed for. Are there other things I can do to follow up with that to get repaid for my expenses? It was a failure on Trustco Bank's part.
How much are we talking about?
Around $900, $855.
And can you give an idea what it was for?
Any idea what it was?
Yeah, the reimbursement. What kind of expenses are you talking about?
Attorney fees. I think she replaced my documents that I had got. It was they said that my box was empty and they drilled it, and it turns out that that was not true. It was they committed a fraud, but I don't know how to follow up on that, and was curious now that you mentioned the consumer fraud unit, whether that's someplace I should go about Trustco Bank attempting grand theft larceny.
Okay, so they went into your safety box, is that what you're saying?
They said they did. They had signed documents and a notary.
Okay. All right, so, well, maybe Zeffery can help me, but if the judge didn't award you any more money, really the only way that you can try to get any more money is you need to file a motion for rehearing, and you have to do it within 10 days. If the 10 days are up, then you're basically out of luck unless you appeal the case, which is very hard. I don't do appeals myself, by the way, which is 30 days. But if the judge didn't award you the extra money, I don't see how you could get it, frankly. You know, there may be some complicated way, but not an easy way that I can think of.
Why does she pick and choose? Why didn't she reimburse everything? Do you have any idea?
Well, you had a trial, correct?
A what?
You had a trial in front of the judge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's one of the reasons you file a motion for rehearing. So let me ask you something. When you were in front of the judge, she didn't make the decision at that time? She did it at another time?
Well, the decision was that my box was still valid. It still had my stuff in it. I just had to get her to prove an order to allow me to test the key to see if it worked. And it did, and my stuff was there.
Okay. So basically, she didn't award any money to you?
She awarded about half.
Okay. And what was that for? For their breaking into your box?
No, it was reimbursing me for the expenses, the court costs and all that.
Okay, got it.
Don't have an list.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So the judge made a decision and she announced it in front of you, correct?
Yes.
And why didn't you tell her at that time you didn't agree with that?
Did.
Okay, well, that's the answer. You got your shot in front of the judge and she said no. So I don't think you have any other options. I'm sorry.
Is that fun? Oh.
Yeah, it's final.
No, laughing. I didn't understand what was funny about that.
Well, I just don't know, I apologize. You don't have any other option that I can see.
Oh, okay, so those that are guilty don't have to pay back something that they've done that was stealing from somebody else. They locked my stuff up. I wasn't going to be able to get it.
Zeffery, do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, I would recommend Mr. Gould, because like you said, one of the things, if the 10 days for the rehearing has passed, you can always seek relief from the judgment if there was some sort of mistake, error, or any new evidence that you found in executing. The court always retains jurisdiction to enforce the terms of a judgment. And so definitely consult the lawyer referral service at the Orange County Bar, because post-judgment matters do matter as well. And they can assist you in collecting any fees that you're entitled to. And like Mr. Basagoitia said, you may have gotten your final answer from the judge. However, it never hurts to get an initial consultation for free, just to be sure.
Who is that I should contact? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. That's going to be the Lawyer Referral and Information Service. I believe the number is going to be in the chat, and that way you can get hooked up with an attorney for a free consultation.
Well, I've done that before. In fact, I've talked to you, in fact. But I'm asking for post-judgment.
Yes,
you're asking for post-judgment relief. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're asking for post-judgment relief.
Thank you. I missed the relief part. Okay. The other question that I had, well, and then as far as me filing something on e-file and her not answering, is that something I can push also with this post-judgment relief?
If it's just something you wrote to the judge, number one, you have to send copy to the other side. And normally, unless you set it for hearing, the judge may not even look at it. So, did you do it within the 10 days?
No.
Okay, so therefore, she may just ignore it. Because again, there is a 10-day limit. But if you file it, if it's over the 10 days, you're probably not going to get an answer. But again, like Mr. Mims says, if you inquire for post-judgment relief, but the problem with that though, how much is that going to cost you, even if there is a alternative? So, but that's the downside of that.
This is a whole new area for me. Should I look online, try to get better understanding of post-judgment relief in Florida or Orange County or anything?
I don't recommend any client looking anything online, because it's so confusing, and you don't know if the law is up to date. You don't know. Well, obviously, it would have to be Florida law. But just like I said, like if you look post-judgment relief in Florida, you're probably gonna go, it's gonna confuse you, because it's probably a book that you're gonna find, and it's just gonna take all of your time, and it's just not worth it. Better to get a short consultation. But I think what I told you, I've been a lawyer quite some time, is that you have an uphill struggle to reopen the case, because I'll tell you, once the judges make a decision, they don't like to change. Motions for rehearings, they normally get denied, and now you're beyond the 10 days, so you only have to do like a very specialized motion, which, by the way, those run out within a year. You could appeal, like I said, which appeal is very expensive, very difficult, and you cannot do that on your own, although people try. You have to be, I think, extremely smart if you're not a lawyer to do something like that. But even the judgment, the motions that you can do within a year are very technical and very specific, and it's just very difficult for an individual who's not a lawyer. And if a lawyer is going to do that, you're looking into probably thousands of dollars, is what I would say.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that answer. I think you've clarified that pretty clearly.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. The other question that I have is about red light cameras and an attorney for an appeal. I don't know where I should look. I've looked online and can't find anything. Is that the same attorney referral I should call?
Yeah,
yes,
you can call them for traffic law.
Right.
Traffic law.
It's traffic law, because this is under Public Works, their red light camera program.
Still traffic.
And they have through court.
Yeah, traffic.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next presenter, Melvin Rodriguez. Sorry.
Hello, good evening. My name is Melvin, and I'm contacting y'all in regards of a roofing contract that I signed. My concern is that I went ahead and did all the process all the way to getting qualified for the permit, and she gave me 4 selections of shingles to pick, and she did not have any of them. But the one that I did select, we approved on, and we got 3 signatures from the HOA. And she came back and told me that they weren't able to get the shingles we requested. But that's the concern, is that I've been dealing with them since the beginning of the contract about getting a better underlayment quality, a better shingle, and a better labor warranty. And I told her that I was going to get another estimate, and she said, I can't because I already signed the contract. And I went and did the whole procedure. The only reason I chose to contact y'all is because she's making it seem like it was my mistake. I went with her to the HOA committee meeting. We did it together to the shingles, and she has me pick 4 shingles. I wanted 3 other ones, and she said no. The 4th one we did, and then she called me. It's like they only have one type of shingles to give me, and And I have the contract in my hand, and it's been over 3 months already. And this job usually takes a 2-day job to do it. And the insurance company already sent me the first deposit check, which I didn't give them any money yet. And there's also remaining $24,000. And I think they're just trying to take all the money and give me less material. And that's why I wanted to void this contract and probably look for another contractor. And I have other emails too supporting the evidence that I wanted better shingles and I wanted better supplies for my roof. And they agreed to it. But when it came to the day that the actual permit was going to be submitted, she called me back and said they don't have it and we have to get another shingle. And there's no one more to pick from but the one that's $63, and I have it in contract that it was a $123 shingle, and she said that I can't void the contract, but I thought I could since their discrepancies didn't. The material wasn't what they told me. The material they're not using, and I can't explain more because I don't know much about roofing.
Well, you said plenty. Okay, Jeffrey, you want to take a stab at that?
Oh, I was just going to say, Mr. Basagoitia,
Passing the buck, huh? Well, yeah, I see these cases quite a bit because I do real estate too, and so this is sort of real estate. But I need some clarification. So, is your problem with the roofing contractor?
My problem is with the Salinas Duche company that I wrote the contract with, right, that's supposed to install my roof.
They install your roof and
no,
you
install my roof.
Yeah, they will. They're supposedly going to install your roof, right?
Yes.
And you went with them to the HOA meeting, and the HOA approved certain tile, and then it turned out that they didn't have it, something like that, right?
Yes, sir. But that's the third time I had to choose tiles. It's like pick 4 cars and then say, oh, but they're going to give me that car anyway.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I think, you know, these cases are difficult because they're, construction is I find this problem that, you get a contract and they have like a million, I'm exaggerating, but, they have all these things that they're going to do in your house. Now, obviously, a roof is simpler than doing the whole house, but you mentioned there was a discrepancy between what the contract says and what they actually are offering you. So that may be a reason to cancel the contract or for a breach of contract. I also will recommend to you, there is a website, it's called myfloridalicense.com, myfloridalicense.com, and go to that website and verify if these people are licensed with them. If they are licensed with them, then you can file a complaint, and they may fine them, they may discipline them, they may take their license away, because what you're describing is kind of like they're not doing a good job. Now, if they're not licensed, then it's just harder to enforce the problem that you have, because again, they're just anybody from off the street. But as to going back to your question as to whether you can void this contract, the answer is probably, which is a lawyer answer. But again, if they're not offering you what is in the contract, I think that would be, and it's really an important part of the contract, then you may have grounds to cancel the contract. Mm-hmm.
Okay, in my development, it has a sign that says no soliciting or whatever. How do they get how do they get around that? Because I thought maybe I could have broke the contract that way. And also, every time I talk, it seems like they have one company, which he might have not been licensed, but then they went and have another, like if they have this Selena Doche company, seems like they have roofers that are contracted to them. I thought this was the contractor. These are not the contractors. These are the people that's holding the contract.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I'm confused, because
Right.
the person he might, this Willie Lopez, he went ahead and he was going to be the actual guy, because I putting on all the shingles, and now I can't even get a hold of him, and they put me to another company, and he initialed
Yeah.
somewhere. So isn't that a
Well,
brief contract also?
right. Well, I would recommend that you go to that website, myfloridalicense.com, and see if they're licensed. It is a complex procedure that I myself, I mean, I'm not even, what I mean is like, for example, you could have your own company and have like a contractor or somebody working under you, let's say an engineer or something like that, and he has the license and you're still within the law. Okay. So there are some kind of weird arrangements like that. But I would still recommend that you file a complaint. Number one, check, like I said, check if anybody of these entities are licensed with the state and file a complaint. And as to your point of no soliciting, that raises a red flag for me, because did they go directly to your house?
Yes, they went directly to my home because it was some category of wind. They in this
Yeah.
particular area, I guess that's how the
Yeah.
cell groups do. They
Yeah.
go where they
Yeah,
have
it's when somebody goes directly to your house, that is dangerous, because it's like they're targeting. It's much. I was reading actually that it's much more expensive to do person to person sale of something. So they're targeting you already, or targeting the area, and so that could indicate that they're not a reputable company. And for example, they should have given you a notice that you have 3 days to cancel.
Yes,
But you probably didn't even notice that until a year later or something,
no, I
right?
noticed that a few days later, and I told him that I have emails going coordinating back and forth that I canceled the contract, or get me my upgraded materials. And he
But did
agreed.
you do it within the 3 days?
No, I did not, honestly, but I did do it. Like if
Right.
I did try to say I left you a message, but I technically I didn't.
Right.
But
Well, legal matters, you gotta do it within 3 days. And I'm not blaming you, okay? Because many times they hide these notices way down in the end or in the middle, and so it's impossible to see them. But you do have to, comply and do it within the time. And emails and texts, the law hasn't caught up with that in general. So you still have to do it in paper. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a case. And in fact, that could mean that they defrauded you. There was a fraud involved. So that would be another reason to dispute them. But I highly recommend that you go to the lawyer referral service and get more in-depth consultation, because the last thing you want is you get somebody else, they're going to sue you. And then, yeah, they're going to put a lien on your property, and they can actually take your house, because even though you may live in your house, is work that they're doing in your house, which is one of the exceptions in the law. And Ms. Goodblatt may know about this because she does bankruptcy. But when somebody does work in your house, that's one of the exceptions. They can take you home. So you need to be careful before you hire somebody else.
Okay.
You need to get rid of these people first.
Exactly. That's why I contact you. I got my last correspondence was a few days ago from her, but she did not leave a message, which I found. I told her. She said we don't have that tile. I'm like, that's the fourth tile I picked. So I'm gonna look for another estimate. And then she said we signed a contract.
Right.
And now I called you to see how I could get out my contract, and they say there's a 15% penalty, but I don't feel like I should pay that if it's a proof of contract. I would pay the 50% if I had the money just to get them off my back, but I feel I shouldn't have to do that.
Well, you do have the money because you have 24,000.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're trying to put a $8,000 roof, but keep the whole other extras for their profit, and I don't find that be fair.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I think you need to talk to an attorney in depth about this before it explodes in your face. I think
it's been 3 months already. How long does this take? Most of the roofs that are around my neighborhood, they sign, and the next week they're building the roof. Within a month from signing the contract to getting the roof installed and repaired, it's a month. But I've been 3 months because I don't want them, because I've been texting them that I want better material. I needed better material, and they approved of it. And right when I went to the HOA, there was no day and no when that I wanted to cancel this contract. Only when she told me that they don't have it. So that she's trying to say I canceled the contract. I didn't cancel it. You're the one that don't have.
No, you haven't canceled it yet anyway. But again, please consult with an attorney. Don't give them any money.
Right.
Don't give them any money. You're never going to see it again, I think. But please consult with an attorney, okay? I think we are done as much as we could today with you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, at this time, we are still open for questions. So if you have a question and you would like to be next, please feel free. You can unmute yourself at this time, or if you would like, you can add your name to the chat. But again, we are still open for questions. We have about 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes left for the event. In the meantime, while we are waiting, I just wanted to share that our next Ask a Lawyer event will be in September. So I'm going to be adding in the chat. This is going to be in the information. It's going to be Monday, September 27th at 5:30 p.m. It's going to be on family law. So I added the event listing in the chat, so you guys can feel free to check that out. Melvin, did you have another question?
Yes, really quick. We looked her up under my Florida license, and it says status expires, and it says currently with probation activity 31/22.
Ooh, well, that's no good. I guess that tells. Well, file a complaint. At least she's licensed. So file a complaint, and probably they'll revoke her probation, and she'll be in big trouble. But yeah, file a complaint, because that means that she's in the website. All right.
Thank you, sir.
And another point, and I tell this to all my clients: anybody who's going to work in your house, especially if they're going to do big works, big jobs, they need to be licensed with myfloridalicense.com. That is a government, is run by the state of Florida, and it's a legitimate website, and you're going to have protections if the people are licensed through that avenue. Since there are no questions right now, I'll just say the following: that in Florida, you either are licensed through that website, which is myfloridalicense.com, or you could be licensed at the local level, at the county level, if you have a trade, like installing tiles, let's say, like what do you call it, the drywall. You could have a trade and be licensed with your county, and that's called a competency license. And so whoever you hire has to have either one of those licenses, unless, of course, it's somebody that like your friend referred to you and you trust or something. But those two licenses are what's going on in Florida, what exists in Florida, in case you didn't know.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, we are still open for questions. If there's any last minute questions, feel free to add your name to the chat. Again, I added to the chat our September event information. Please feel free to click on that link and you can sign up for it. If you missed this before, I will be sending an email follow-up to everyone, all the attendees, with the information that was presented, resources, I should say, presented in today's event, such as the loyal referral service by the Orange County Bar Association, the self-help center information, as well as the virtual event information for September. So again, if you have any questions, we will open it up. Jacqueline, I see that you are unmuted. Do you have a question?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to know, I'm getting ready to start, sorry, let me cut this off. I'm getting ready to start my business. I'm working with SCORE of Orlando, and the main reason why I want to start a business, I want to work with women and girls, teenage girls, you know, up into like maybe 18, to help them further their education. And that's the purpose of me, because I'm into the educating. I work for different companies out of our elementary school, and I work for the Grove Counseling Center. So I love helping children, especially teenagers and ladies also, to help further their education or whatever skills or whatever training they need. So that's when I come in to just assist them and just, you know, help them go through, you know, whatever they need to accomplish and help them complete it.
So what is your question?
So my question is, what do I need? You said register my license with the Internal Revenue?
No. I was talking about, these are like people who do construction, you know, it has nothing to do with your type of license.
Okay, gotcha.
Your type of license is you know, we're getting off topic here, but you know, you're starting a business. So you have several licenses that apply to you, and I wish you all the best, by the way. You seem to be a good, you know, you have a good heart, and you're going to help these persons. But yet, for that is not consumer law, and that's not one of the areas we're discussing. You would have to talk to, you know, I can tell you that one of the licenses you're going to need, the easy license, is going to be an occupational license. Yeah, so that's the first one. That's only like $60 a year.
Is that the LLC?
No. You're mixing oranges with apples. My advice, yeah, my advice to you is, if you are, you know, gung-ho about starting these businesses, you need to talk with a business law attorney.
Okay, got it.
And you can call the lawyer referral service and ask for either a business attorney, business law, or a corporate attorney. I think that will cover your bases.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because the licenses that I was talking before are about people with trades who are either handicaps, they're, you know, or like somebody said, construction. They have nothing to do with business. There's about, you know, building things, kind of thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Jacqueline, just to echo what Louis said, you need to find out about what type of entity to set up your business as, like you mentioned, LLC. So you want to make sure you set everything up properly, from the accounting in your business to the business entity. That's why you need the business lawyer. It's not just a license. And so if you sit down with a business lawyer, they'll help you do the things that you need to set up so you're in compliance with the IRS and all the things that are best for you and the industry you're going into. Okay.
Okay, gotcha. Also, let me ask you another quick question. I'm also getting ready to take some innovation classes at UCF, because I want to create and design my own products. So he did mention something about you guys and everything, and he did give me this guy number. He's an attorney to get my products and everything patent, you know. So I'm working on that.
Good.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like if you were gonna do a song you know, or maybe write a poem and you want to copyright it. If you're going to do a special product, that's who you would want to talk to, a patent person. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And I will have to contact you guys and ask for a patent attorney?
Yes.
Okay, I will.
Get a patent and get a business or corporate attorney as well.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you so much. You guys will know, because I'm going to be coming there, you know, and giving an invite to you guys for my grand opening, you know, and if you want to talk or speak about something about you guys service and stuff, great. I don't care. You know,
Okay.
you never know
Great.
what somebody needs, you know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, our next question comes from Catherine. And I'll go ahead and ask the question. She doesn't have a microphone. But the question is, not sure if this is consumer law, but can your HOA in Orange County tow your car on city roads within the community?
That's a good question. Again, that would be real estate. That would depend on the rules of the association. That was called, it has a weird name, but that's what the first place that I would look at is the rules of the association. They may be in the website for the association, and then it will tell you what they can and cannot do. I understand that a street is a public road, but you know, it may be that the way you're parking your car, or it may be just a restriction. They don't want cars parked in the sidewalk or something. I mean, they have all kinds of rules. So you need to check the rules of your association, is that I would say. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and also, can you give me that number, or I don't have it?
The number for the lady from OCLS, can you put it in the chat? So there we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. We've added that
I
number
don't.
to the
It's
chat.
not showing. It's just showing 40. It's not the whole entire number. Is not on there.
The number is 407-422-4551.
422-45. Say it again. The last four.
4551.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I write in the chat so that lady sees, because she's asking the rule of the association that they can tow the car. Can I write in because it's a being, kind of mouthful.
No, absolutely, yes.
All right, so I'm gonna write it in the lady, if you're listening, I'm gonna write the name of the document that you need to, or you're probably gonna need an attorney to look at it, but this is the name of the document that you need to look at. She sees it.
Yes, thank you. And then Catherine, if you have any follow-up questions on that, just let us know. She got it. And our next question is from Rhonda Gatewood.
Hi, thanks for having me. I don't know if this is appropriate. It does involve small claims court though, but it's an odd thing. My daughter was okay, let me back up. A couple of years ago, there was a dog in my neighborhood. I guess it's a HOA question, so maybe it is consumer, but there was a dog in my neighborhood that was aggressive and ran after me when I was jogging, and we have a security guard. I contacted the HOA. They came over and they subdued the dog. Apparently he had gotten out when the family was gone. So a year later or so the HOA was aware of this problem. He's a German Shepherd and he has behavioral issues. And so my daughter was walking my dog and this German Shepherd broke free. I always avoid this dog because he's just scary, but he broke free from his owner. He was on a leash, he broke free and attacked my dog. My dog then had to go to a veterinarian. He was ripped open. He had to be on an IV, all of these. He got an abscess, so he had to be treated, and it was $1,000. I called before all of the treatment occurred. I called Orange County Animal Health Services, and I had one of their agents come over. They told me they do not enforce, because I said my dog needs treatment and I need these people to assist. He said they don't do that, but he went over and talked to the people, and he just gave me Orange County's free mediation services. I contacted the mediation services. First I sent a certified letter to the neighbor, and they did not accept it. Then the mediation from Orange County contacted them. They did not respond, so I couldn't get mediation. So my question is, first of all, this occurred in 2020. And am I still able to go to small claims court? It was over $1,000.
Yes.
And second, do I create a small claim against the neighbor or against my HOA, who was well aware that this dog is a problem?
Okay, Jeffrey? Zeffery?
Yes, absolutely. I would say you probably have a case against both of them. Definitely, potentially against the neighbor for negligence. Typically, you've got 4 years. And in that case, your property damage or the veterinarian costs would be your damages. So you certainly can contact a small claim via the self-help center, and they'd be able to put together a statement of claim for you. And in terms of the HOA, if they had knowledge of it, depending on what the Declaration of Covenant and Restriction says regarding animals, you certainly could go after.
Well, you're not allowed to have aggressive animals. I don't know. And the agent from Orange County Animal Health Services told me that the dog has to have repeated offenses or attack a human for them to do anything about it. Now, my daughter kind of did get involved. She got scratched, but it didn't require medical attention.
Right. I heard that from another client. That's what they told her too. It's true.
So if I might interrupt, Rhonda, so you might want to talk to an attorney who does homeowners association law. That's a whole specialty. See if someone would consult with you and talk to you a little bit about what the liability is. There may be some requirements that you have to give notice in a specific way. Just calling the security guard may or may not be enough. It may require a letter to the association, may have been other things that have to happen, and you might want to just find that out before I wouldn't head to small claims court directly against a homeowners association until you got some additional information. The neighbors are directly responsible for their pet and their animal, but the association may or may not be, depending what's required for notice.
Yes, that's true. Let me ask you, how did you know they don't allow aggressive animals in the association? How do you know that?
Because I went through their covenants for other issues.
There we go.
Yeah, I went through their covenants. And also, if you go to small claims court, I mean, potentially these people just ignore my request. They could potentially just, even if I were to get a judgment, they could just never pay, correct? I mean, you can't get that.
That's the point I made before. But I mean, you can do it. And I know this sounds kind of empty, but you can do it. I mean, they may pay. I mean, there is supposedly is reported in the credit report, but I've been reading that less and less credit agencies are reporting judgments, and it's even rare now that they report judgments. So that's one less thing that you have in your arsenal, so to speak. Like the credit will not be affected. But there are things you can do to collect. Okay, it's just that they're kind of. By the way, you can get a lien. That's an easy thing. If they have a house, and you win a case against them, you can put a lien in their house. And if they sell their house, then you can collect on that. And that is a very easy thing to do. So that's one reason you may want to go that route. There are other things you can do as well to make their life kind of difficult to collect on your judgment. For example, they need to respond to some questions, but there is the hassle involved, and you need to be really committed to do it, and many people just think that they just went to court and they got a judgment and that's the end of that. And there are ways you can do, there are things you can do, but they're not easy. They don't require, I don't want you to be misled and think that they require a lot of money. They don't, but they do need, you need to be guided by a lawyer at least to tell you how to do it. But the reason why this is, because we're talking here about lay people, is because people don't go to jail because of owing a debt. That's the reason why it's hard to collect, because in long time ago, people would go to jail. And then they would have a big incentive to pay you, but that's illegal in our Constitution in the whole United States. So that's why you have to kind of go around.
But Rhonda, some of those remedies that Lewis mentions, you can garnish someone's bank account. If you have a judgment against them, you can garnish their paycheck. It isn't super simple. It's helpful to have someone even advise you on how to do that. But there are other mechanisms to collect, but you have to have that judgment first.
Okay. And so my bigger concern is, I haven't seen the dog in a while. We make sure we walk another way, but sometimes he is walked in that way too. My bigger concern is, he's chased me. And I feel sorry for the dog. He's just been obviously not trained, but, and he's attacked my dog to the point where my dog almost died. I mean, it could be a child next. So it's sad that you have to wait until someone gets really hurt and it has to be a human. Is there nothing you can do to protect the community at all?
Well, what's going to happen if, God forbid, something like that happens, that then Morgan is going to get involved because they're going to sue the association if something really terrible happened,
So Rhonda, maybe I missed this, but there's usually a property manager that works for the homeowners association, a management company, who these issues are not unusual. And they have letters they send out to property owners telling them they're in violation of certain restrictions and covenants, and they need to comport themselves a certain way. You have the right to pick up the phone and call whoever the property manager is, a member of that association, and voice those complaints very specifically. And
oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try
every
that.
once in a while. I have one, not too often. But
that's a good idea. But it is a very good idea, because if the association gets involved, they're gonna send them a letter, and then the lawyers get involved. And then it's a matter of not $1,000, you're talking about $3,000 maybe, and they may lose the property if they don't pay. So, that's a good way to make them enforce. From the way you describe, the property manager is maybe not responding very well. But if they did their job right, your neighbors can be in big trouble.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for having us too.
Thank you.
All right. We might have time for a couple more, but Melvin, you are next. I don't know if you want me to read this question. I can go ahead. So this is a question for small claims and consumer law. What are common red flags that can be avoided, or good rule of thumbs? You mentioned my Florida license as one option. Are there other options to consider?
Depending on what kind of transactions you're gonna do, I mean, it just depends. I mean, if believe it or not, we are all consumers. Anything we do when we buy a cell phone, for example, when we go to Publix, we are consumers. But of course, in Publix, you're gonna get a good tomato normally. But if you go to a buy and pay here place, you probably don't know what you're getting. So a lot of it is who you're dealing with, honestly, because if it's a good company like Amazon, or you go to eBay, you're going to get your money back. But if you deal with somebody off the street, you are you're risking yourself. If you ask what a telltale signs or a good practice, I would say if you don't know who you're dealing with and it's a substantial amount of money, I will read the contract before I sign. That's the best thing that we all lawyers know. And we know that, like if you're going to rent a car, I don't read the contract. But again, who you're dealing with, you're probably dealing with Enterprise, who you know is a good company. But if you deal with whoever, pay less, rent a car, because, sometimes at one time I had a problem, you're exposing yourself that this was not a good company. So that's just some comments about that.
So Melvin, another good rule of thumb, I don't hire anybody to do anything unless someone I know referred me them. So if someone just knocks, so solicitors, you heard that earlier this evening, solicitors are generally not a good place to get a referral from. And even if they give you a list and say so-and-so referred, we all have friends, we all have relatives, we have coworkers. If you're going to get a roofer, you're so much better off asking someone you work next to who said, who did your roof? Oh, I really like this person, or I didn't. Blindly, someone who knocks on your door is not usually, there's a lot of work out there. That is a big red flag. Something else I tell people to do, aside from going to the website, I actually look in the Orange County public, if you live in Orange County, the Orange County public records. Have they been sued before? Run that person's name or the name of that business. You could do that on your own computer. It's public records. You can put in the name of the company and the clerk of court's website. If they've been sued a lot, you probably want to stay away from them. But I really don't recommend you ever hire anyone to do anything, to come into your home unless you have someone has used them before. That's my rule of thumb.
I would say there are talking about websites. It's very like there is pardon me, but there is a place, I think it's Home Advisor. It's one of them. It used to be Angie's List, and and so you get referrals from these people, but you don't know who they are. Who writes these reviews? I don't trust anything in the internet. Who writes these reviews? Even Yelp. How much do they get to write these reviews? I mean, you need to know who's the source or whoever you're relying on, I would say. And let me tell you, this Home Advisor, I had clients who have been defrauded because people believe what these websites say. And Angie's List, they did have a warranty of $50,000 if something went wrong. But again, I haven't read the warranty, so I cannot vouch for them. And they don't have it anymore, as far as I understand. So red flag, anything internet, anything. And the question you should ask yourself, who's writing these reviews? And if you don't know, then you can't really rely on them. Yes, you can rely on a restaurant, to go to a restaurant, but you cannot rely on doing a roof that is $15,000. And so another very good advice that, I'm sure the attorneys know what I'm talking about, but is if somebody's going to do a work for you, don't give the money up front, okay? Have them do the work first, and then you pay them. I understand that very few people will do that, but the moment you pay somebody, they don't have an incentive to finish the job. So maybe you can do half. I'll give you half, and I'll give you the rest later. The moment you give the money, all the money away. And with all due respect to Amy Goodblatt, even you have to be careful even with friends and all of that. I know there is not 100% warranty to protect yourself, but I've seen cases, that even the friend referred him and it was a fraud. So, my Florida license is a good way to verify. Again, and I was telling you before, it was my Florida license, or these people have if like there's a handyman, let's say, or is a cabinet maker, they have a competency license with the county, and I don't even know how to check those, but you call the county and ask them, this person has maybe the building department will know about that, has a license or not. Thank you.
You can, something else I just thought of, you can also call the Better Business Bureau, but be careful about that. They do, so you can have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau just because you answer complaints. So they rate you not only, it isn't just the quality of the work, and I'm, by the way, Better Business Bureau rated, so I believe in it, but I will tell you that their rating can be an A+ just because every time someone makes a complaint, you answer it. What you want to do is find out how many complaints have been made. So those are red flags. It's not a certification, but if someone's had a lot of complaints against them, even though they've answered every one of them, you shouldn't have a lot of complaints against you.
Or if they're unresolved complaints too,
Mhm.
Good.
Jacqueline, did you have a question? No? Okay, let's see, did I miss anyone? We have about a couple minutes left. I think that was all the questions we have.
Okay.
Do we have any last minute questions? In the chat, Zeffery, do you have anything to add to that last question?
About protections for the consumer.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I was suggesting that, next time in the near future, when you guys have these workshops and Zoom meetings and stuff, it would be nice to start having, when you guys do start doing open back to the public, maybe a final location and start doing like stuff like this, in person to person, and serve like lunch or brunch or something. I'm just throwing this out there.
That's a great suggestion.
Good
Thank
idea.
You. Yeah,
I mean, I love it because that's what I did when I lived in New York City in Manhattan, and I used to attend a lot of events and stuff like this at the Adam Plain Power Building. It's a federal building on 125th Street in East Harlem, New York. So they used to do a lot of workshops, person to person, and they would serve like brunch, breakfast brunch, and it was really, really cool. I enjoyed it, and it was free to basically the public or people want to start their own business and stuff like that,
Yeah, I'll just make a plug to Candice. I know she's listening. I know you guys attorneys don't speak Spanish, and I know Miss Amy, if she does, I don't know Zeffery either.
Yo hablo español. Okay.
There we go. So we should have a one for Spanish speaking, I think, just because there's so many here.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for the suggestion. Oh, sorry, my video's off. Sorry. That's a great suggestion. I love that idea. I think that even makes it more accessible to everyone. So thank you for that. That's something we'll definitely look into. I believe that's all the questions that we had. I just want to thank all of our speakers. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and answering all the questions so thoroughly as well. Thank you to the Orange County Bar Association for organizing tonight's event. We appreciate you guys as well. Again, don't forget that in September, we will be having this event again. It will be for family law. That will be the topic. Please share that information with anybody you know who may need it. It will be virtual again. These events will be virtual through the end of the year, so just keep that in mind. But yes, we take feedback. We love the feedback you guys have. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time and your questions as well. So thank you. I hope everyone has an amazing day.
Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you. God bless you guys for your information. Yes. Woohoo! I love it. Knowledge is power.
There we go. There we go.